Hey, everybody, welcome back in to another live edition of This Versus That, where we break down some music, artist to artist, band to band, what it was like, what happened, what it's like now. Uh, this week we talked about soul. This is your host, Mr. Michael Leopold.
Hey there, Bill. And that's your other host, Bill Forness, my partner in crime, my soul brother this week.
Brother, we broke down some soul. I think some people got upset. We got some comments to get to. We got it's so tough when you get into this sort of thing.
Yeah, there was a couple where everybody was like, "Don't make me choose." We get a lot of that, and that's what makes it fun. Is a hey, you're not going to be put on a cross because you picked one or the other, and you showed somebody that you loved disrespect because you picked the other one. That's just life. We go right, we go left. Doesn't matter.
Tough. They gotta be tough. That's the whole. That's the thing. We sit. We throw these names back and forth. We try to figure out. What's gonna be a tough match. Not so much an easy one. Um, these were pretty tough.
Yeah, I agree. So why don't we jump right in, Bill? Let's start off. What was the first? What was Mondays?
Monday.
Looks
Uh,
like we got Sam Cooke
you got it. Yeah, you
and
got
Otis Redding.
Sam Cooke and Otis Redding.
So you start off the week with a couple of classic soul crooners there, and I mean, right out of the gate, you make it hard for me. How could you not? I mean, Sam Cooke. Let's just start there and say, all the people after him were following him. I'm talking about James Brown. I'm talking about Otis Redding. I'm talking about Wilson Pickett. I'm talking about Aretha. They all wanted to be like Sam Cooke. He was the first one, that really
Yeah.
created the space, and so, and then, from pop culture standpoint, he's got two songs on the Animal House soundtrack that live with me forever. What a wonderful world it will be, and what was the other one on that one? Shoot, I can't think.
You got me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it'll come to me before it's just I'm just blanking on it. But you got Cupid, you've got uh the sender. Oh gosh, but he just had the sound right, and then you got Otis who steps up and just knocks some songs out of the park writing wise. He writes Respect. He does a version of the Rolling Stones Satisfaction that is outstanding. He gets a nickname handed to him by his cronies. They call him Mr. Pitiful, and he turns that into a song. And then posthumously, when he died, after he's died, they released Dock of the Bay, and that goes to number one. But his signature song, Try a Little Tenderness, is like the song I think of when I think of Otis Redding. And it's just golly, I love his style and his depth. And
Let me say what the audience picked.
mm-hmm.
Sam 22.
No, Otis 22.
Sorry, Otis 22 votes. Sam got 16.
That's tight.
What say you? What do you think?
Look, I absolutely love them both. It's like cutting an arm off here, but I think I go to Otis more than Sam, and I love Sam. I love him, but I can't get over Otis's I don't know, that gravelly voice, that and nobody could break your heart more than Otis. I mean, that guy could really summon up some emotion, and that for me is soul.
That is so. Yeah, one
How
part
about
of
you?
one part of it anyway. Well, I'll tell you right now. I'm reading. Lynn McSorley said, "Not fair. Too close to call." That's one of them right there. You're right, Lynn. It man. How do you talk about? So I have to go. I have to go with Otis, uh, Mr. Pitiful, Dock of the Bay. Um, these are just huge to me, and I just like the way he was able to. He just had he had power behind his vocal. You know, you believe exactly what he's singing about. You know, what was the song in the movie Ghost? That was the one that I remember was the big one. Who was that? It was
Well, the Righteous Brothers, I know, did Unchained Melody, right? And then
Whoopi Goldberg and
Swayze and
yeah, yeah. Uh, our, our producer will pull it up
oh yeah.
here.
Hey, I just remembered the song "Twisting the Night Away." That's the other one on the Animal House from Sam Cooke.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's my favorite song from him. And didn't he do the Chain Gang?
Yeah, Chain Gang. Love that song.
Working on the chain. Like
Yeah.
those are two favorite Sam Cooke songs.
Yeah, no, I mean those are great songs. You Send Me, Cupid, Chain Gang, Twisting the Night Away. And he did that Change Is Gonna Come. That was a big kind of the movement song he did for civil rights. You know, he was very active in civil rights, and he gets shot in 1964 by a motel owner, and it ends up getting nailed, considered a justifiable homicide. I'd love to see if they reopen that case today, how that would go down. You know, and then you get Otis dies in a plane crash. So these guys both die before their time. You know what's really cool is Sam Cooke is he's a charter member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So when they opened the doors, he was in. You know, that's pretty cool.
Yes. Well, I think Otis.
Yeah.
Is what we got to go with. But
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
props to Sam Cooke. Love it. Just Otis for me for the power and for the soul. I mean,
yeah, agreed. Agreed. All right, Tuesday.
That was the one. These arms. Hard song to sing too.
Yeah.
That one. That's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a great song.
All right. So Tuesday we had Wilson Pickett or Tom Jones, the dance master.
This was, dude, when you threw this matchup at me on Tuesday at all, that one, it caught me off guard, but I loved it. First of all, Tom Jones, that guy's got something. Now, as we were talking before we came on the air, when I was a kid, when I would see those KPLR TV Channel 11 commercials, and there were, you know, with all those old singers that were, my mom was never into Tom Jones, but like my mom's friends and that Tom Jones just made me think of old people, you know, when I was younger, and it was the end of that disco era, and he had the shirt unbuttoned and those tight pants gyrating, and I'm just going, who is this chucker, you know? And then fast forward today, if It's Not Unusual comes on, man, I'm dancing the Carlton, buddy. I am kicking it to some Tom Jones. What's New, Pussycat? I, I he's gonna, but you know what did it for me? It was in college when he teamed up with The Art of Noise and did that cover of Prince's Kiss, which was such an eclectic, kind of cool avant-garde version. Then I'm almost like, I think The Art of Noise just made Tom Jones cool again. And now he's got a career. He's on The Voice over in Wales. You know, he's one of the judges and coaches, and he's still, yeah, he performs. He did the Vegas thing. I think you were talking about that. You know, he lived it. But Wilson Pickett, Midnight Hour, Mustang Sally. I mean, you can't have soul music without those two songs. And I love him. And this one's so hard for different reasons completely, but I got to go with Wilson Pickett. Even though I love Tom Jones, I got to give Wilson Pickett the soul here.
This was really close. It came to 15 for Pickett and 11 for Jones. I got that right. I like someone, Monty Shields said, would it be unusual to choose
I like it, Monty. I like it.
Um, but yeah, no, I gotta go Tom Jones. I gotta go Tom Jones. I love
Good.
I mean, oh my god, that stuff is phenomenal. What my Delilah, I think.
Oh yeah.
Man, I mean, yeah, I mean that guy can sing, he can groove, he can move, and at first I thought, man, but the most covered song I've ever heard is Mustang Sally, and I'm thinking, man, Wilson Pickett's got it. But then I was like, well, he didn't write it.
No, he
God
didn't. Yeah. No.
wrote it.
He- It's funny how an artist though can do it better than
Right.
whomever wrote it and make it his own, because that's what you think of when you think of Mustang Sally. His version is the version. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like Otis with Try a Little Tenderness. We were just talking about that. Sinatra and Bing Crosby did that song, and it never grabbed hold until Otis did it and made it. You know what I mean? And then Otis has a song he writes Respect and does a great version of that. And we're going to talk about a lady that takes that song here in a few minutes.
Right.
So, it's interesting, especially in this soul business. Um, this was a great topic. It's just rich. A lot of meat on the bone here, Bill. A lot of meat on the bone.
Yeah, I went, deep diving, and I went and listened to a lot of these old records that these guys put out. There was just things that I was coming across that I didn't know, and that's just the other thing I love about this. So, folks, if you're out there and there's just some of this stuff that just go back and listen to some of it. Just put on
Yeah.
one of the records on your Apple iTunes and just start going down the rabbit hole. It's a good time. All right, so next we had Wednesday. We had Tina Turner and Aretha Franklin.
Tina Turner showing her lovely St. Louis face again, and she's got chops. This was a tough. You talk about a matchup where people say, "Don't make me pick." I bet if I counted one, there were 8 or more people saying, "Don't make me pick. This is too hard." And we saw that throughout the week, but especially on these two. And that's funny because, and I think it's partially because we hail from St. Louis, and there's a lot of love for Tina because of that hometown girl thing. But to unseat the Queen of Soul is almost impossible, and I think we can see by the vote, it's 24 Aretha to 14 for Tina, both respectable, but kind of a blowout, but not unexpected. I don't think, and for me, Aretha wears the crown here, and I love, again, I got nothing but love for Tina, but I'll take Aretha, every day of the week and twice on Sunday, when it comes to giving me the right kind of soul music, for the week, and Respect, that's her signature song. And I read a quote from Otis saying that little girl stole my song, and he said it with respect. He wasn't saying it that she did a bad thing. He just knew that her version was the best version of it, and I love that when the person who writes a song, performs a song, can acknowledge when somebody does something a little bit better. That's good stuff.
I love it. That's just what we were talking about. Carol Weiss said, Aretha, no, Tina, no, Aretha, no, Tina, just stop it. And that's the thing. And I tossed back and forth and went and listened to some stuff. And it's too tough to choose, really. But I think, I don't know, there's something about, from the song's perspective, I like them both equally to a degree, but for career or charisma, Tina Turner.
Ah,
And it's the charisma. It's all the moves and how hard she worked. Not only that, but her story too.
yeah, no, absolutely. She had real pain. There's no doubt about it.
And then
But I'll tell you, any woman,
Thunderdome did it for me too.
yeah, any woman trying to make it in this business when they were trying to make it, man, you got to give them huge props because they were catching it. They had to do it twice as better, you know, twice as hard, twice as often. I mean, they just had to work, work, work to get the attention, to get the acclaim, to get the, to get out from under Ike, to get out from under the record labels that had the thumb on you. And so mad respect to both of them. But yeah, we're ending up on the opposite side here a couple times, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's
The cover. She did the CCR cover. Proud
oh
Mary.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably the one that most people would want to listen to today. Is
Yeah.
that great slow and then kicking it up at the ending? She made it her own.
And for me, it's "Feel Like a Natural Woman" for from Aretha. That song for me just says it all, and it talks about just the whole game for me, for her, and why that song just captures all the emotion and the soulfulness. So yeah, two winners right there
Well,
for sure.
that's
Oh, and that little note: Aretha was the first woman to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I didn't know that. I didn't.
Yeah, and that was in I think '87. So 87, or it was either 87 or 89. I'm trying to remember, but I think it was 87 because it was opened up in '86, and I think she was in the next year. But anyway, let's move on to Thursday, buddy. This
That's
is a
matchup.
tight one.
Oh yeah. Ray Charles and Marvin Gaye. It looked like a blowout on this end though. It was what 26 for Marvin and
No, that's James Brown. We got Ray Charles got 12 and Marvin Gaye's got 16.
16, not 26.
Yeah. Right.
I
I
got
think I think when I shared the numbers with you, I put James Brown too close.
I got yeah. Well,
But Ray Charles and Marvin Gaye, two different stories coming up, two different styles, completely, but both so important. So, one had a really nice long career that really got to see a lot of how the music business started, how it changed and evolved, and from a civil rights perspective and all that. And they both are there. And then, one gets cut down a little early, again, pretty violent death, shot by his father, Marvin Gaye was. But for me, I love Ray's energy, and I like his piano playing and that boogie woogie, and that vibe he had going. But I'll take the smooth, silky Marvin Gaye, and that goes from his romance music, from Let's Get It On, but also the more kind of, I don't know if you call it protest music or calling some stuff out music, but what's going on, and Mercy Mercy Me. I mean, these are songs that were making some political statements about the world, especially for a black man in the military. Uh, um, just everything going on with Vietnam, all that stuff, and civil rights. He had something to say and was saying it, and you didn't even realize it, because that music was so silky and his voice was so, it didn't sound like it could be a protest song, but it was, So that good for him for kind of going a little under the radar there. So I kind of dig that about Marvin. So I'm going Marvin Gaye for me. I just dig his style.
I like them both. I like them both a lot. I'd like to read a couple of comments because there's some good points here. Matt Reedy, another really tough one. My gut says Ray Charles, but on the other hand, sometimes it's hard to judge a career cut short, right?
Yeah.
Discussed that before. Versus one that went on for decades. This is true. With plenty of highs and a few lows, this is also why I think Beatles versus Rolling Stones arguments are kind of silly because who's to say the Beatles could have kept up their level of quality had they not broken up? You're judging 10 years worth of output versus over 50 years. Kind of hard to compare. What do you think of that?
You know, I'm not saying he's wrong at all. I mean, those are valid points, but that's what makes comparing them so fun. You know, you talk. I mean, I don't want to get on the Beatles and Rolling Stones here because we're doing soul, but when you have the impact that you have as the Beatles, then I think you deserve to have a shot against the Stones and longevity, and you know, one can cancel out the other to some degree. And I'm not saying which one's better. I'm just saying, you know, there are some matchups that do make sense, and I'm not picking a winner doesn't mean we've established anything. It's a preference. Like you remind me all the time, Bill. It's about flavor. It's about spice. It's about which way am I feeling today? You know what I mean? Which way? And today I'm feeling Marvin. And you know, I love Ray Charles, and I love the chant, the opportunity he got. But gosh, I agree with Matt. I would have loved to have seen what Marvin would have done because he was just starting to break out into something really special. And, you know, he was an innovator, and he was an innovator at Motown. He got Berry Gordy to let go of some. You know, Berry Gordy had the reins on most of those artists. You know, he really had the clamp down, and this is how you're going to do it. And I've got a formula. And Marvin talked him into letting him do some things that was not so Motowny, you know, but he got away with it because of how he did it. And it was cool, you know, and that for me is the win.
Matt, and I'll say this too. I think that the material that he did, even though it was short lived, I think you could put it up against almost anyone on this list
Oh,
for this week. So
his list of number ones is unbelievable.
I mean, I think it still stands up. I mean, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going the other way. It doesn't have anything to do with.
No, I know.
It's like I like it and I listen to it and have for a long time. But Ray Charles, I mean, hit the road, Jeff. You know, I mean, that sort of thing is just that's my groove, man. And then to watch a guy like that go on the Johnny Cash television show, which, you know, what do I know about Johnny? No, but he goes on there and he sits down at the piano, and if you've ever seen it, just YouTube it, and he plays Ring of Fire, and you see Johnny Cash standing over in the side, giddy like a little kid, watching him just take this song to a whole nother level of. He took a country song, two beat song for the most part, and broke it into this soulful. I don't even know what it is. You'd have to go listen to it. It's absolutely brilliant. That's another thing that just took me over the edge with him is his innovation. And
Dude, I love it.
Chandler Evans said Marvin had a gift and a message. That's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
They changed the framework of music in an historical sense. So did Marvin to an extent, but in the case I'm putting the chicken before the egg.
Oh, that's fair, dude. All that is valid as can be. And you know, I loved it when Ray did that country album, you know, modern country. I mean, that was genius.
On jazz is unmistakable. He had a lot. He added a lot to music for sure.
Yeah, and he's a good storyteller. You know, he's a good storyteller, and that's what I think all these guys have in common is just the good storytelling.
Did you see that movie Ray?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Was that Will Smith?
No, that was Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. Yeah. Yeah, he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he did. All right, let's get to the last matchup. This one's the most unfair matchup maybe of all time. Next to Jimi Hendrix and anybody else in the guitar world.
Affectionately known as the Godfather of Soul, Mr. James Brown. Get back to hit me.
Hey, across the nation. Living in America.
Wait, Rocky IV, right?
Right.
Thumbs out. Oh, that's great. And Al Green, the Reverend Al
Yes.
Green.
Love me some of the Rev. Love me some of the Rev. And here's where we're gonna go. You talk about two totally different styles, and you brought this up, and you know, you got James Brown who kind of starts out as almost pop bubblegum.
1950s rock
Yeah,
and roll.
he's probably following, you know, Little Richard in a little bit, you know, he's in that kind of game. And then he starts to find his voice. It's a little more soul, R&B, and then he goes to the funk. You know, he brings the funk. And so, you know, his version of soul, where I think he found his true voice, was in that funk space. That's where he really exploded. And really found his legs, for sure. Where Al Green lived more on that gospel side, on more of that, you know, church, you know, extension. Obviously, the name, the Reverend Al. Um, Let's Stay Together is one of my favorite songs. It's in my top 10, period, of songs. If I'm going on a desert island, that's on my playlist for sure. Um, and I love that scene in Pulp Fiction when that song's playing and Marcellus Wallace is talking to Bruce Willis's character about dropping that fight. That lives with me forever. Um, but and his voice, that the notes that he could hit up there, um those high notes were just surreal. And so i I think I go to Al Green more, like, just as a sound that I like to hear, that's nice in my ears and stuff, but he can't touch the body of work that James Brown has. And so I got to give it to James. And who could beat him? I don't know anybody this week, or they, you know, maybe. No. I think James is the king for sure. But James doesn't have a job if Sam Cooke doesn't do what he did first.
Right. And there's that ultimate argument. Um, yeah. Stephen Applebaum said, the Reverend, hands down. I hear you, brother. I hear you.
Right. Yeah.
James Brown, hands down. Stephen, I gotta, just because, man, Sex Machine. I got that feeling Papa's got a brand new band. Um, but I posted out a video for Payback, which is one of my favorites. My old band, Plug Glass Religion, did a version of that song. I mean, just awesome stuff, man. James Brown. Uh, yeah, so that's what I was gonna ask you too. Like, out of all of these, who would you give the nod to for the whole week?
Well, real quick, just so we give the props, James Brown won this one, going to walk 27-6. You know, it was definitely not close, and I did not expect anything different. But you know, again, I'd almost say I'd like to do what I did last week with the Guitar Heroes. I got to take Jimi Hendrix out. I got to take James out. Okay, so I'm going to take James out, and then I'm going to give you my pick.
Who are you gonna? Who?
And for me, my favorite of all these artists is Otis Redding.
Oh man, yeah, right. Oh God. See, and that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say it came down to James, Otis, and Ray for me. And then so if we took him out, ooh man, yeah, I'm gonna go with you. I'll go Otis with you.
I'll be damned. How about that? We disagreed on a bunch of them this week, and then we come out in the end the same. That's funny.
Yeah, 'cause I think James Brown would have been the tippy, but to just take him out of it, yeah.
And
Otis,
it
oh
would
my,
have been hard to beat. You know, Marvin's in the conversation for me, for sure. Marvin is definitely in the conversation. And then you start talking about guys that are on the fringes, because we probably could have done, like you said, we could always do another week, right?
oh my God, yeah. Curtis Mayfield.
Um, Luther, well, not, I don't even want to go that modern yet. Lou Rawls, you know, I love me some Lou Rawls. Lou Rawls for me is kind of like the Tom Jones, you know, I mean, and there's another St. Louis guy, that's a hometown guy right there.
Yeah, there's a lot. We'll get. I guarantee it. We'll be touching on that stuff again, especially. We got lots of new surprises that are going to come to you guys. We're going to be wrapping up what we're calling season 1 next week. What do we got for them? What are we going to wrap up this with?
I think because of the season, I think we're going Christmas songs. So we're still working on exactly how we're going to formulate that one, but the Christmas is the theme. We're going to end the year, and next Sunday on the 19th is going to be our last show of this season. We're going to take a few weeks off, and we're kind of going to tweak and reformulate our show. I mean, everything's the basis is still the same, but we got some ideas for season 2 that we're going to try. So we're excited about that. Hey, by the way, Bill, I went and saw some live music last weekend or this past weekend on Friday night. I went to the pageant and I saw, or I'm sorry, the Del Mar Hall, and I saw Dancing Earth, which used to be Blue Dixie. And so they started out as kind of a Grateful Dead cover band, and then they evolved and started writing all their own music. And this show was like their farewell show as the original group, because unfortunately their drummer has got really aggressive pancreatic cancer, and this was the last show he was going to play with them. So it was kind of a tribute to him. It was unbelievable. And the every song that they did, 3 sets they played, was all original. So, I mean, and these guys could be another Grateful Dead. I mean, they just got that vibe, they've got that sound, and they got, man, Brad Sarno on lead guitar. Unreal. He owned me all night long. He was just killing it. So you get a chance to see Dancing Earth when they kind of get resettled, when everything happens, for them. You go see them. It's well worth it.
We just did a show down here at the Riverwalk in Stuart, Florida, and opening up for a band that's been around for quite a while, and I'd never heard of them, called Strung Like Horse. And man, are they eclectic, very, very cool, high energy group. I can't even describe what the style of music is. It's really neat. Strung Like Horse. I think we're going to open up for them again in April at a couple of places, Terra Firmata and some other place in Fort Pierce, possibly. I'll keep you updated. Strung Like Horse.
Nice.
Good stuff. Get out
awesome.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. Get out there and support that live music, and and listen to some new stuff, listen to some old stuff. Don't stop growing your musical library and miss out on some stuff that is going on in the world today that is tremendous and all evolutionary of the stuff that we're talking about today. Guys like, we mentioned him, I think a week or so ago, but Marcus King, if you like soul music and blues, that guy is tearing it up. Samantha for sure. Fish. Yeah, Samantha Fish, right on. Right. She was just in town. Was at I think at the pageant. And I'm going to see El Monstero on Saturday, the 18th, to get me a little Pink Floyd dose for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, brother. Well, hey, I can't wait to see what you got set up for us this week with the Christmas sounds, and looking forward to getting with all of our fans and talking about it next Sunday.
Yeah, where can they find us? Where can you listen to this at? YouTube?
Yeah, you can go on YouTube. You can go on Spotify. We're on Anchor and Facebook. So those are the places you can find us.
We got a website going yet?
We are still in the build stage. We haven't put it out yet, but we will have that out in conjunction with the start of season 2, and hopefully have some merchandise available.
We're going to have a lot of surprises for you guys on season 2. Please come join us. Get in, make comments. Let's get this thing rolling. We'll after next week, we'll hit you real hard in January, and we're going to have some fun.
Yeah. All right, Bill. Hey, thanks again for a great episode. Love the topic and always enjoy my time with you.
Yeah, enjoyed my time with you as well. Everyone, put your hands together for Mr. Ryan Gavin. Put your hands together.
Right on. Peace out.
This versus that. This versus that. Sit back, relax. It's a musical chat. We can all get along if we just sing this song. This versus that.